Okay, I started. Okay, guys, welcome. Welcome to the Intro to Social Entrepreneurship. My name is Ndimane Rapori, and I'm the founder of Youth Evolve. I'm a social entrepreneur, and I'm also a DI expert. So, as I said, I hope that you guys will be open to talking, because I want us to have a conversation and learn from each other as we go as well. Um, can you guys hear me? If you can anyone say hi and, greet? Or should I choose? Guys, can I choose? Should I choose one? Okay. Tando, can you kindly unmute your mic?
Hi, can you hear
Oh,
me?
okay. Yes, I can hear you. Funana, I can hear you. You can greet.
Oh, perfect. Maybe I can just be the volunteer. So, my name is Funanani Mgakateri, and I'm a student at the University of the Western Cape. I'm also the president of Inectus UWC.
Nice, nice. Anyone else who wants to greet? I've chosen Tando to speak. Tando, can you please unmute? Anyone else who wants to say hi? Tando just left. Wow. Is it that hard to speak, guys? Anyone else wants to say hi? Milani, do you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Milani. I'm doing my second year at University of Western Cape.
Nice. Okay, guys, I will go ahead since you guys do not want to speak with me. So today we are doing the introduction to social entrepreneurship. So we're just learning on what social entrepreneurship is all about. And the course purpose is summarize key principles of social entrepreneurship, to identify the challenges and opportunities of social entrepreneurship. And lastly, you will learn how to use the evidence to analyze, evaluate, and exploit a social opportunity for an entrepreneurial venture. You also learn how to apply business functions to create and sustain a social venture. And finally, you will also learn how to prepare. I think after all the knowledge that you've acquired, you'll be able to prepare a business plan for a social enterprise. So before we go to what a social enterprise is, what are your guys' understanding? Before we just like dive into what I wrote here, what is your guys' understanding of social entrepreneurship? Who wants to give it a try? What is social entrepreneurship? Anyone who wants to give it a try? I'm not gonna stop asking if anyone is not gonna answer because I'm not gonna talk alone, guys. How? Who wants to give it a try?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Tiseto.
Hi. My understanding is, as an entrepreneur starting a business that solves a potential problem within the community.
Mm,
So that's where most entrepreneur or people who start businesses make sure that their businesses focus on the SDGs,
mm. Okay,
which is
that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, anyone else who wants to try? What is social entrepreneurship? Okay. So, a social enterprise is a business that has a social environmental mission as its primary purpose. Just in a simple kind of way, a social enterprise, mostly it's like, how to put it? It's a business for change, right? And it reinvents most of its profit into achieving its social and environmental goals and measures its success by social impact as well as its financial performance. Uh, social im- um, Social entrepreneurship can also be included in businesses. I'm not sure if you guys know about corporate responsibility. So that is an aspect of social entrepreneurship into private businesses, because as businesses, understanding that they need to give back to the communities that supports their businesses. So that is part of social entrepreneurship, for like, it's business for change. But then there are also businesses that just deal with that. That includes your nonprofit, your charities, that specifically now deals with giving back to the community. So those could be an organization like, for an example, the organization I'm representing, Youth Evolve. We are also a social enterprise, which is a non-profit, and our focus points are youth development and youth empowerment, and that is what we focuses on. So a social enterprise can operate in any sector of the economy, such as the health, education, environment, arts and culture, and can take various legal forms. It could be a cooperative, it could be charity, and could also be like Youth Evolve, a non-profit of a profit organization. So why is it important? Why is social enterprise so important for us to consider? Social enterprise demonstrates, a better way to do business. That in that way that benefits the people and the planet over profit. So it's not saying that, profit is you're not going to get profit when you're doing social enterprise. You will get profit, but we also focus on the core, which is people and our planet. Some of these businesses you would find are involved in environmental, like how to preserve our environment and preserve and help with climate change and all of that. Those kind of a business. Give an example. One, think about our first social entrepreneurship network exhibition. We had this young people who came up with an idea of creating caps that had a solar panel. I don't know how they actually did it, but the cap had a solar thingy on it where you can charge your phone. So that is, in a way, social enterprise, because it preserves our environment. It's the energy is renewable. They're using renewable energy, and it's cost efficient. Like, they use cost efficient energy just to charge the phone. So that is one innovative idea that I can think of. And another one that we've heard, I think also that was in our first in our first Scene Expo, was this young man who invented um, a machine that would help with agriculture. So I'm not really quite sure how that machine worked exactly, because it's a bit while back, but it used renewable energy and the sun, because also the machine it would control itself. So it was not controlled by people. So it will control itself and dig holes and all of that. So that is one another example of social enterprise that is focusing on environmental change. So social enterprise contribute to reducing economic inequality. Um, for an example, now Youth Evolve, we are focusing on empowering young people to become the best versions of themselves. And we aim to help young people to think independently. That we have realized the gap that in most rural areas, there isn't much of information about a lot of things that are happening out there. And having that information disseminated or taken to those places where it's needed most, it can make a huge change in people, in other young people's lives. Because sometimes we take things for granted that we know, that everyone else know about. You might find that other people do not know about those things. So another reason why it's important to have social enterprises addresses social and environmental problems that are often neglected or exacerbated by traditional businesses or public sector. So public sector is the government. Uh, Sometimes the social enterprises to solve problems that the government can't solve. I think mostly when we look in townships and in rural areas, most young people have, or not even young people, but the people that live in those areas have a thing of, oh, we're waiting for the government to do this and this, or the government is not doing anything. And in that way, nothing is being done if the government is not doing it. But now, when we have social enterprises, that's where in you guys come into play and say, okay, what is it in my community that this community needs? And in what can I do? Because I think we all have a responsibility in our own communities, and we all have a role to play in our own communities. So that is where you, as a social entrepreneur, and you look in the need of your community. What is it that your community needs? And then you come together with a product, or you come together with a business that is solving or answering the need that you have seen. So social enterprises create innovative solutions that are responsive to the needs and aspirations of communities they serve. You create, obviously, as I said, innovative solutions based on the needs that you've already established. That, okay, in my community, I think there's a need for as Youth Evolve. I'm just going to even give an example with Youth Evolve most of the time, because I just want to show you, as a social entrepreneur, how was my thinking process starting Youth Evolve and all of that. So I had to look at, in my community where I was raised, that what was the need. I studied there. Like, I studied there from my primary until high school. Then I left to university. So when I did my university, I was in a different place. And I think that had taught, kind of like, I learned a lot from that, because I understood that there's so many things that I never knew when I was still back home. And I took the fact that I know that there are other people like me who never knew certain things. And I understood the importance of going back to where it all started back home, to see the need and say, okay, there's a lack of information. For an example, maybe they're trying to apply for work, writing a CV. There's so many people that do not know how to write a proper CV. That's one thing that I also found, that, like, a lot of people, their only way of writing a CV is that what we were taught in high school. But that standard does not actually work when you're going to apply um, in real world now. Like, what you were taught in high school and now, it's necessarily not equivalent. So that is another thing that I saw as a need in my community. And I believe the first event that we had as Youth Evolve back in my community was, it was called Mentorship at the Park, and we were doing it in a town called Toendo. We had people from NYDA, we had people from the University of Venda. We had different people coming through to listen and engage on to the event. So they were talking about unemployment and how to cap that, entrepreneurship. So we kind of like addressed those issues, because I saw that there is a need for us to talk about unemployment and where I come from. There's a need for us to talk about how to start businesses, because some of the young people in the rural areas have um, they have innovative solutions, but, like, how do they go about implementing those those innovative solutions that they have. So some examples that of social enterprise in South Africa. Sia Badi is a recycling and a waste management company that aims to create jobs while helping the environment. So this startup buys waste from local collectors, mostly women, and it sells it to recycling companies. So this is kind of like a very innovative, solution. And I think it's quite important at this point in time. Like there's a huge gap right now looking at the environment, and mostly when you go to townships, seeing how much debt is all over the place and all of that. So that's a the business, that's a gap that needs to be filled. And the second one is Farm Crowdy, a digital lending platform that connects farmers with small investors who can share them, who can sponsor them, sorry, during a season or collect a small return when they harvest. So I remember when we opened the applications for the expo, there was one of I don't know if that person is here or not, but someone talking about having a business where they lend and all of that. This is another innovative idea into lending. Um, Not just lending and helping a farmer, but also uh, it also aims at reducing hunger and poverty by increasing food production. So there's so many other things that you are achieving. This also mentioned the SDGs. Here, there's a number of SDGs that you're going to be ticking off by this kind of a business. And the other one is Relate, a bracelet making company that employs senior citizens, refugees, and unemployed youth to make and sell bracelets that supports various causes such as health, education, conservation, etc. We also had something similar like this our last exhibition. A lady started a business like this, a bracelet making company. So this is also another great initiative. Another one, it's called Sweep South. It's an online platform that connects domestic workers with homeowners who need cleaning services. It aims to improve the working conditions, wages of domestic workers who are often exploited and underpaid. This is a great cause. This is a great, great cause because if you look into the domestic workers, a lot of them are exploited. Some of those people are our parents. And I think the person looked and saw the gap that existed, that there is a need for domestic workers, but also there is a need for them not to be exploited. So then they created this platform. So I hope you guys are also thinking, what is it that you are trying to do? Some of you guys already have initiatives or innovation solutions that you have, but some of you are also just thinking, what can you do? We'll go to the process on how to dissect that. Okay, so story time. I hope you guys now, ready to engage with me. I'm just gonna play a video about this. I'm not sure if it's gonna play here. Okay, I don't think it's gonna play, so I had to play it somewhere and share with you guys. Okay. Present. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I'm just trying to find the slide. Okay.
So enterprise, like a traditional business, uses business principles in order to gain financial profits. But more than that, they also help solve a social, environmental, or cultural problem. For me, a good social entrepreneur has, number one, a strong burden to help solve a problem in society, because that provides them the passion and the grit to continue what they're doing. Worry Notes is a social enterprise that creates innovative storage solutions, and we provide its wallet with a cell phone holder. We are targeting mothers who need to have additional income for their family, and we want to prevent them from going out of their home, leaving the country to be OFWs or house help in order to be there for their family. One of the most difficult parts of being in a social enterprise is that sometimes you might spread yourself too thinly, because not only do you invest your energies and your funding in the business operations, but you also need to invest in building the community as well. I think primarily that keeps me going is the God who has led me here. That's why the name Mori, which means God is my teacher in Hebrew, because I believe that He was the one who placed me here, and He has been equipping me with all the resources and all the network that has enabled me to continue in this business and sustain this business.
Thank you so much. Okay. So what makes a good social enterprise? Now let's talk. You guys know now what social entrepreneurship is, why is it important, and we learned some examples. So what makes a good social enterprise before we go on? Who wants to give it a try? What makes Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put you into a group since you guys don't want to talk to me. I'm going to put you into groups, and then I'm going to give you, let's say maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right, to discuss what makes a good social enterprise. And then after that, one person must tell me the answer, what you guys have decided. Okay, now we're going to go to the groups. Okay, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you guys had time to discuss um, what makes a good enterprise. Okay, so I'm going to start with room one. Room one had Uviwe, Tisetso, and Rembruani. So who in room one will be representing? Room one. Okay, anyone ready with the answer? I think I saw someone sending on the chat, but I can't find it. Anyone who wants to give me the answer? Okay, if Nanan, you can go on.
Maybe speaking for those who are in room 3, I think
Okay.
the main idea is that a social enterprise puts people first. So it's people, then profit to sustain that business.
Mm,
And another thing is the leadership it takes. So being a leader in the society as the social enterprise, that's what makes it.
mm, mm. Excellent, excellent. Well done. Well done, room 3. Um, room 2, Arehone, is he here?
I think Tando can take this one.
Okay.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, 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 can hear you.
Oh, hi guys. I think to answer to your question, what you were asking was what makes a good entrepreneur or enterprise,
Yeah.
enterprise.
Yeah.
So I think I texted on the message box that it's all about giving back like to the community, because identifying what basically the community needs. Maybe some communities need assistance, maybe like to provide, assist, let's say, grade 12s or high schools with certain, let's say, applications, and stuff like that. Others, maybe they require you provide with, let's say, soup kitchens to the community, to the disadvantaged ones. You understand? So it's all about identifying the need in the community and then giving back without expecting something in return, because it's you've seen the need, and then you try to meet up with the needs of the community. So for me, I think in line with that, it's all around that canvas. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. That's great. Um, room 1, room 1.
Hey,
Hi, Tiseto.
yeah, speaking on behalf of the room one from my perspective, being a good enterprise is solving a problem within a community. It's where based you do a market research and you try to find a problem, maybe a major problem within the community that maybe starting your own enterprise or whatever can actually have a positive impact. It's more like giving back to the community. Sometimes can be reducing unemployment. You start an enterprise, then you employ people, you reduce unemployment. And also, as I mentioned, mostly focus on the SDGs. We have education, we have zero hunger. You start an enterprise. After making profit, you use that profit to give back to the community. Zero hunger, you buy food and you take it to the orphanage, for example, dealing with the social problem and making sure that um, it has a positive impact on the community, and also being creative and innovative, making things easy in the community so that they can develop more.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Excellent, Tiseto. I'm glad that you guys understand the concepts. So yeah, when we ask questions, guys, feel free to talk. Like, we're here to learn from each other. I'm not also like, I don't know everything. I want to learn from you as well. Your own experiences and all of that. So going on, it's creativity and innovation. I like that this has mentioned creativity and innovation. So how do we go about with creativity and innovation? when it comes to social entrepreneurship. So you offer a new product or service. So you're going to look into the community, obviously, and realize what is it that is needed in your community. What is the, like, obviously you need to say, what problem am I solving? So there has to be a problem that you're solving at firstly. And once you have a problem that you're solving, and then see, okay, no, since this problem, I'm trying to solve it, how can I solve it? That's when our creativity comes into play. That, oh, okay, no, I can create a cap that has a solar to avoid climate change and all of those things. I'm just giving an example. So obviously you're going to think it through, and you probably have to also do your research. Not even probably, but you have to do research. You need to develop new process or technology for producing or delivering an existing product, service, program, or project. So with this, I'm just like gonna expand your knowledge as well. When you're talking about creativity and innovation, it's not only you starting a business on or an NPO or anything. You can have an app, for an example, that this app it helps. I'm gonna give an example because I've gotten involved in like hackathons. So we've done an app. I think one of the hackathons as Youth Evolve that we helped run. It was one in agriculture, and there were a number of like applications that the participants came up with to solve agriculture issues. And we were doing this hackathon in Limpopo, where I come from, in Toyando. So we were looking at agriculture in the area that there's room for agriculture, like there's room for that kind of space. So, but then how can now technology bridge the gap, right? That will ensure that the processes of agriculture are made better. I think Arione is good to actually tell you guys what he did, because he was part of the hackathon that we hosted. Arione, what project did you come up with? Because I remember you were in number 3 or number 2, if I'm not mistaken.
On that project, we created an IoT based that used sensors to record the weather conditions, and also it also recorded the soil's texture, things like soil humidity, things like the air oxygen that is going into the soil, and then it used that to modify the surroundings, like the amount of water that should go to the plants for maximum or optimal growth. And also it also engaged things like fans and also lighting around the plants so that they can be able to grow well.
Wow. Yeah. So stuff like that. We're talking about creativity and innovation. So that in its own is helping business processes for farmers in those rural areas. So you need to think outside the box. This is think outside the box. So this is where you need to think outside the box and pick your brain to say, what is it that would make life easier for people? And deliver existing product. You can deliver existing products, service, program, or project to a new or a previously undeserved market. So you might find that some products are not really new; they're existing, but in certain markets, uh, like they are new because they don't know it. And if I can expand on that with an organization like Youth Evolve, it's not new. Like mentorship is not new. It's not a new thing. It's not a new service that we are rendering. Um, Hackathons are not new as well. When we did the first hackathon in Toyando, it was one of the first actually happening there, like in person in that area. And it's not a new thing, but it's a market that was never explored. We never had those kind of projects where young people could do stuff like that. And we saw the need, that there's a need because we understood that young people also in those areas are quite they're quite smart, and there's a need for them to have a platform where they can express themselves and also learn from one another. So also design organization structure while you're doing your creativity and innovation, having a structure. Firstly, when I started Youth Evolve, as I'm just going to give example, as I said with Youth Evolve, when I started it, I designed the organization structure. It was not even in um, the provinces that it's now in. It was not even in the Western Cape. Now it's the first time that we're coming to the Western Cape. But I started in my community because I believed that it's important to start home. It's important to plow at home. So I started the organization in my community, and then it grew to other communities and provinces. So far, we've been to KZN, Gauteng, um, and Pumalanga. So now, for the first time, we've been in the Western Cape. So I saw the need in my community, and I then had an organization structure to say this is how it's going to start. How we started our organization structure is more of we get young people that are curious, right, to learn and to impart knowledge. And we also want young people that will think out of the box, right? So we don't detect programs and all of that. We do have like standard programs that would have every year, like this one, but then many other programs that we have are programs that we say that since you are from a different area, like now we have people from different provinces and different fields, different backgrounds, and we say that okay, from your own community or where you come from, what is it that is needed? What is it that you think can change the lives of young people in that community, since we are dealing with young people in our organization? And they come up with, ideas. We help refine those ideas and, plan and execute. One great example that I always give of one idea we had from one leader who was in Pumalanga. We started with her, the organization. She was a student at the University of Venda, but she's from Pumalanga. So when she went back home, she was still part of us, and we were doing our drills on the programs to do in the year in that year, and it was just after COVID. So she was working as a teacher's assistant in a school. And she realized that in that school, a lot of kids are coming at school without their hair done, like, and in a way that is affecting their social their self-esteem, right? And she realized, okay, I can do her, like she can do hair with wool and any other thing. So she was like, well, wool is cheap. She only needs wool, and that is mostly an acceptable hairstyle in most like schools in like in the rurals or like in government schools, if I can put it like that. And she's like, I can do hair. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just need a wool, and I'm gonna do their hair. While I'm doing their hair, I will try to mentor them as well, and hear, what are they going through? Because sometimes all that some other young people need is just someone to talk to. Literally, they just need someone to talk to. There isn't even about, it's not even about what resources, because a lot of people would think, oh, if I'm starting an NPO or I'm starting a social enterprise that is like they into giving a service or all of those things, you think, oh no, I need money or I need this and this and this resources. Personally, when I started Youth Evolve, I didn't have any resources that I started the organization with. Only had my laptop. I only had the knowledge that I acquired from the university, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And I took my time, learned different things, learned designing, like I had to teach myself. The original logo, yeah, Youth Evolve, I was the one who created, but not this one. It's the same, just that now this one has been modified for high quality. But then the first one, which is not high quality, was done by me. And it was like I was just learning. So sometimes when you're starting um social enterprises, you need to start with what you have, right? Use the resources that are available at at hand. You don't have to wait for certain things to come from anywhere, because nothing's gonna come from anywhere. And then time also is not gonna pop by. Like, there's time is never there. We make time, and I appreciate that you guys made time to join us today. Not that you don't have any other things you're doing, but you made time to say, I'm making time to join and learn about social enterprise. So utilizing new source of labor or other production inputs. So obviously, when you are growing within, your enterprise, then you get new people. As Youth Evolve, when we were growing, because we only had like our first executive from the University of Venda, since I was working with the students that side. And going forward, we found, new source of labor, like people now from different areas and provinces are part of our team, and they bring, diversity, and they bring different other projects. That's why we have been in provinces like the KZN. So you also create new funding models. So another thing, when you're working with like an NPO kind of thing, um, personally, I didn't have any funding models. We still do not have like, well, I can say we have a funding model, but we don't have sponsorship. I can put it like that. But then we had to work on, okay, we have projects. So most projects that we need to work on should be projects that don't require like so much um, monetary investment to that. Like the first one we had didn't require any monetary uh, investment really, because we had that event at the park, like it was in a park, and people just came and said, I think the only thing we probably spent on, the team came up together, and then we did some refreshments and for people that came. So you also put things that work for you at that particular time, because you don't just start with 100,000 budget. Sometimes you start with zero, but like mostly when you're going to ask for funding and all of that, they would need to understand, what have you done before? Because now even though you do not have the funding, like maybe you have you want to start you want to build um, an agricultural thingy. I don't know what example can I give. A tool or a machine and all of that. Sometimes you might not have the funds, and people might not fund you by you just giving them an idea. Basically, you have to go the extra mile and probably sacrifice maybe 100 rand and buy certain material to build a prototype. A prototype is just a display kind of thing of how your machine is going to work. It's not the actual machine, but it's just like a small display kind of thing that you can show, okay, this is the machine I'm trying to build. So no one is going to fund you if you don't build it. And we see that small like prototype thing and say, okay, no, I think this is something sustainable. As a business person, I think uh, I can invest in this and fund you. So entrepreneurship stages, starting from opportunity recognition. You need to recognize the opportunity that exists. We've been talking about that, with seeing the need, what the need is, and solving that. So you look at the social problems and unmet needs in the community, and concept development. Then now you identify social rewards, new products, and markets. And then after that, resource requirements. What is it that is required? As I was just explaining, sometimes you have a zero of any. Like you don't have even labor, you don't have people that are under you and all of that. Because sometimes you need to start by your own. When I started, as I said, I did everything. I can still do everything because technically I know the ins and out of the whole organization. So if a person can't do certain things, I try to do it, because when I started, I did everything by myself. and then launch, determine metrics, measure results, scale, expand, and change. And then the last part is goal. And it's not even the last part, it just goes and goes and goes and goes because like opportunities also change over time, right? Like you might have a business that was needed at that particular time, and now it changes over time. So you need to constantly look into the society. What are the problems? What are the unmet needs? And then create concepts. So obviously you are bettering your business structures over and over and over so that it remains relevant. Uh, so these are some of persistent social entrepreneurship concepts. One, it's inherent disadvantages. This is government control or public scrutiny, budget and constraints, lack of financial resources. So inherent disadvantage usually would link it with government. A lot of South Africans, it's so common that you'd hear people complaining about what the government is not doing. Also the government themselves saying, no, we don't have money to do this. That's why we are experiencing load shedding, because there's no money. But then what do we do now as civil citizens? Civil citizens is me and you. What now do we do to solve certain problems in our communities? I've seen communities taking things to their own hand. Like they would have this one example I can bring to you is this community that have water problems, and they're like, we have water problems and government is not doing anything for us. So what do we do? They come together and they put money, donate, get money together, put money together, fundraise, and have a borehole situation in their community, because at that point they were going to the river to get water, and now the problems that now they were facing, people were getting sick, cholera, and all of that. So they came together and say, we can't wait for the government to do certain things, because now they're going to say there's a budget constraint, there's no money, there's this and this. There's always like excuses. So when we wait for government to do certain things in our communities, are we going to eat later? And organization mission, you must it means must have a strong emphasis on social mission. Like your enterprise, your social enterprise must have a strong emphasis on social mission. What is it that what change do you want to bring into your society? And addressing social problems or needs not met by private markets or government. As you said, private markets, like it's like corporate companies. Corporate companies have responsibility, corporate citizen responsibility, but it doesn't mean that all those companies are doing what they're supposed to do, right? You can a good example could be mining. Mining has so much negative impact on the society, not of the society per se, but like on the environment. The smoke, the digging, and all of that is not really that good for the environment. So it's a good idea for those kind of corporates to have a sort of like a corporate citizenship, a corporate um, responsibility. Like, what is it that they're doing to actually solve some of the issues in the community? Just one example, I've worked with the mining council. So the mining council had an initiative on women in mining, where they are solving, a lot of inequality, because usually in the mines it was, a man's thing. Like men were the ones that were working in the mines, but now we have women there, and there are so many issues that women face in the mines, like gender-based violence and so forth and so on. So the mining council is now saying, what is it that this mining companies are doing about those issues that have been reported, like gender-based violence, what education is being imparted also to the minors, and what support is then given to someone who has experienced gender-based violence, or maybe was raped in the mine. So what then happens to them? Like what kind of support do they receive? And now mines now partake in that initiative by then providing support for the women in the mines, like who with necessary support where needed. So that is part of corporate citizenship, because there's so many things that goes on, and businesses need to go back and look at the people that bring the money to them, and kind of take care of those people. I think I'm going to go into depth with that on the next session that we're going to have, which is social entrepreneurship and DEI. Profit, not a dirty word. Combine social purpose with financial sustainability, right? And it must be self-sufficient in spite of inherent disadvantages. So we already established that inherent disadvantages is government control and the public scrutiny, lack of money, and all of that. So now I'm saying that, how then does your businesses, how is it self-sufficient in the way that it could still run even though it's not supported by the government? So that is one thing you need to ask yourself as well while you do your business plan. Works with market forces, innovative solutions, private action. So works with market forces. Obviously, you need to bring something that the market is looking for as well. So you need to be relevant. Relevant, then you need to be innovative. Innovation means you are relevant to what is required or needed in the market now. And then, so now when you're going to do your case analysis with your business, you're going to ask this question: what is it, right? What is case analysis and analysis? So you'll assimilate information. This provides you with experience not ordinarily available. So this is information that you can't really Google. For an example, if you are doing something for your community, you can't Google things about your community. It means you know your community, you know what your community is looking for. And you might have to talk to certain people in your community to understand the need. So illustrate the theory and content of social entrepreneurship. So there, what you are doing is getting the information from the people that you want to provide those services into that. Okay, if I do this, will it be helpful? Because now, if you think about something on your own, it would make sense. But sometimes take time to also not think, but like take time to ask those questions to your potential target market and say, okay, I have this idea. How would you pay for this, or would you join something like this? For an example, now with Youth Evolve, we had to look at the market. Our target market is mostly young people in different areas of their lives, but we've mostly focused on young people in rural and in township areas. And we had to have that conversation because personally, I knew how it's like to grow up in a rural area. So I have that information. It's not something I can Google and say, I Googled what people are saying about rural. I personally, through lived experience, know what is missing based on my experience. And I'm trying to solve what I think is missing based on my own experience. And with your case analysis, you also do your top management perspective. this is now who's going to be involved in your project. Mostly you're going to start alone, or you're going to be starting with a partner. Some of you are exhibiting with someone. So that is top management perspective. So what is the perspective in that way? And it's always good to have to diversify perspectives, that you come up with, the correct kind of solution. Because when you have different kind of perspective from, oh, I have this knowledge, I have that knowledge, that brings about a better solution or innovation. Communicating offers an opportunity to participate in class like this one, to present your ideas to others. So we're going to do a quick exercise, or like a fun exercise, you can call it like that. I've reshuffled you guys, so you're going to be in different groups now. I want you guys to just at the spot come up with an idea, an innovation idea, looking at your different perspectives, because obviously you have from different perspectives. You're studying different things. Some are studying financial accounting, some are studying this, some are studying that. So based on what you studied or what you are studying, and based on where you're from and all of that, come up with a solution in 5 minutes. So I'm going to put you in the groups, and you guys are going to do case analysis, come up with the solution of a problem that you think is in your communities. But obviously, yeah, as I said, you need to have different perspective, which are different. So I hope you guys are thinking of something. I want to hear your case analysis in 5 minutes. Okay. Lion, free.
Okay. So,
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. So what did you guys come up with? What did you guys come up with? Okay, let me start. Room 1. Oh, this is so.
Oh, we didn't actually think of like a new idea at the spot, but then we just talked about the business that we both are actually the ideas that we have, or if we already running an enterprise, like what are you running and stuff. Then we just pick one. It's like for now, can we just focus on that one and stuff?
Okay.
So we chose mine, which is a program, an educational program. So the problem that we're trying to solve within the community is just to providing or enhancing the quality of education. So the program actually is focusing on career guidance, and it gives university tours. And also we're trying to create employment within university students. So when we're doing the thing, we employ students and say they can participate, they can just gain an experience of they've been participating this. So we actually want to enhance their skills. Not only they can just learn theory in school, but then they can try to apply it somewhere else.
Definitely. That's a great one. That's a great one. A round of applause, guys, for team. Which team were you in? This is so.
I mean now room 1.
Oh, okay. And then any other person? Room 3.
I think Kando, you came with a good idea. So can you please explain it?
Okay. Kando.
I think we just had a discussion, yeah, because he was telling me where like is my group team was telling me where he's from, the problems they have in the community, yeah, in terms of like they have blockages and stuff like that, you know, around the community, you know. So yeah, we're still discussing. So he asked me where I come from and stuff like that. So I told him like my point of like how things are at because I also come from the townships of Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
So basically, when I attended school, high school, there were also programs there, you know, which assisted us to become the individuals we are today, like academically, you know, doing well at school, you know. So I think I've also like chose that path as well, you know, to find ways, you know, to assist, you know, academically. Basically, what Tiseto said, you know, it's what we both doing, because we are in the one we're in the one program. So
Okay.
we're trying, you know, but now the thing is now we want to expand and we want to, you know, reach other areas within the Western Cape. But these type of things take time. They take
Yeah.
a lot of paperwork, admin, and stuff like that,
Mm,
and
mm,
assistance as well. So we're still getting there bit by bit. We're trying to gather the knowledge we need for this program, and then try to make it a success. As much as it's
yeah.
gonna take time, but we need to
It will
gather
work.
the basics, the foundation, yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you guys had time to also just to talk about what you guys do, where you guys are from. That is important. This the whole purpose of this program. Um, any other team? Any other team? Okay, we're gonna go on so that we finish. So case analysis, doing the case analysis, more or less creates preparing a case study. So for an example, you guys are talking about, starting your own initiatives and all of that. So you would need to have this kind of case study. Okay, before we go on, Rimbo can continue.
Hi, sorry, I was actually not part of any group. I was struggling to join
Oh,
any group.
okay.
But the one thing that I have identified in the community that I come from is
Mm,
I think it's all just based on education of our youngsters and our teenagers.
mm,
So my problem that I've identified is that most of the teenagers do not have any health education where they know about basic ways in which they can take care of themselves. That goes for boys and girls. And
mm,
then just trying to figure out what are the ways that we can better educate the youngsters in terms of like how they can better take care of their health. So in a way we can get nurses, registered nurses who can come and not only just hold like um a course where they help assist ladies and boys in general to better take care of themselves, but also just to understand the importance of one having to have a knowledge of how their health is the main vehicle and
mm,
how it can help them, because we only have one body, and if we don't take care of it, number one causes of a lot of diseases that we've got is because people are not mentally taking care of themselves. They are not
mm,
physically taking care of themselves. So if we address the issue of the health, we are able to solve a lot of issues in our society now that we've seen a rise of depression amongst a lot of people,
mm.
not only teenagers but even adults.
That
So
is
yeah.
that is great. That is great. Round of applause for Rimbo. Okay. Okay, we going on now. So how to do that case analysis, right? So firstly, it's an assessment. Know what questions to ask. What's the business model? So you guys were talking about um, the project that in which you teach and all of that. So you need to write it. What is the business model? What is your business model? And what is this problem that you're trying to solve, right? And examine the key indicators of strategic and financial performance. So basically, this in just simple terms is um, what is your strategy, your financial strategy? How do you plan to make money, right? And how do you plan to keep afloat as a business? So that is one thing you need to ask yourself while planning, while doing your case study. Sorry. Secondly, analyze the current situation. Conduct a financial, organizational, environmental analysis. This is really we've explained, the basics of each of this. Like honestly, financial, organizational, like having a diverse kind of a team with different perspective, the environment. Um, so read the conceptual material, conceptual material. When you start a business, right? Like obviously you have to have a business plan. So when you have a business plan, you have to keep on reminding yourself what is it that your business is studying for. Because obviously your business is going to grow and it's going to change and it's going to adapt to newer ways of how things are being done. But remaining in what it started, like it's always important that remaining with the core principle of why you started, right? And how does this help understand the case? I think this then helps you when you're writing a case study, because obviously you have a business plan, right? A business plan is a whole different thing. If your own business plan, you'll have a session where they will help you with business plan and all of that. So once you have your own business plan, once your business is growing, you can have a case study, because now a case study is something, it's what you are going to be sending also to potential funders and all of that, and say this is the opportunities, this is also the shortcomings that you are facing in your business and all of that. And also sticking to your conceptual material, which is probably in most could be a business plan, could be a constitution, in terms of an NPO, ensuring that the core of that business you still follow. The third one is action, that recommendation. Synthesize, integrate, and apply. Support with reason and evidence. So give evidence of why there are shortcomings, if there are any, opportunities where you saw opportunities and all of that. Support with reasons and evidence. That's why I always say it's important that you have something to show. You have evidence. You have something to show of what you're trying to make. Because sometimes you can just have the idea, but there's no evidence. So if you say, okay, no, I want to teach, you have tried because you're working with what you can, right? You have tried, and you in your case that you are already supporting and say that, oh, because I'm alone, I'm able to already have worked with maybe 5 learners that I helped with all of that. Because it's not about quantity at the end of the day. It's about the quality, like quality service or quality product. So it's not about how many products you make. It's not about how many people you help, but it's about quality. The last one, appreciation, learnings and takeaway. So you'll have to debrief and ask yourself, any other, if there may be any other issues that you are facing. Ask yourself certain questions that, how can you do certain things? Where can you be better, or can you do better? And by doing so, it helps you to always be up to standard to what is happening. It helps you to always be also sort of remain in the core of why you started what you are doing as well. Because I know I've seen a lot of NPOs, for an example, that have lost its core or what they actually started, because now there's so many other NPOs that are coming up, or they have experienced or seen, and they're just like, oh, but I love what they're doing. But you need to know what your core and what exactly are the issues that you're solving. So you need to have a debrief, and after a year or after 6 months or after whatever time, to say, what is it that I've done and where can I improve? And yeah, where can I improve? Where can I do better? Or what are some of the challenges that I need to tackle? What are some skills do I need to learn as well? Because sometimes it also takes you to learn a new skill. And networking is one of the most important things for social entrepreneurship, like also just in entrepreneurship. When you network with different people from different fields, different areas, different places, you get to learn from each other. Like I might know something that you do not know, and I will teach you, and then you also going to teach me something. So that's how you grow. That's how you learn, and that's how you grow as an individual. But then if you're just going to sit and wait, I don't know, wait for what exactly, but if you're not going to look out there and try to engage with how others are doing and how they get funding, for an example, because that is one most hardest thing when you have an enterprise, funding. And that's one reason a lot of people say, I'm not going to start a business because I don't have money. So then you get to ask, oh, okay, Dee, so you started your NPO. How did you do it? And then I tell you how I do it. And then you meet someone else. They tell you, oh, they're doing a teaching, just like Disetso was saying. uh, then you get to learn different ways in how others are doing, and better your own business as well, and your own strategies in how you do certain tasks in your business. So before we go to the conclusion, we are done now. We are done. So before we go to the conclusion, I just want to give this platform for any questions or any feedback before we do the conclusion. Anyone with a question or feedback? Any questions?
Hey, just a quick question.
Okay.
I realize mostly when people actually try mention creativity and innovation, education always come into play. The concept of education always come into play. So my question is, how soon do you think when they're coming up with a business idea, they should try and emerge with technology to say, this is I have to put technology into play into this, because we know how technology is evolving.
Yeah, that's a great question. Technology, yes, it's evolving, and I believe that there are certain things that now we don't do them the same way that it was done in the past. Like in the past, certain things were done manually and hard labor and all of that. But now, people have found ways to do things, a bit better than how they used to do, and that is through technology. So it is always important for you to align with the current technology trends and learn the skills of new technological trends to get out there. So if you say, okay, no, we want to teach, you have to include technology as well in play, because then there was, just traditional teaching wherein you would teach a person, like if a session like this, I would have to be in a room with you guys. But now I'm in a different place. You are in different places as well. And we have held this meeting. So it's you now saying that you need to look in a broader kind of picture to say, how do I now improve my reach using technology? And I think in one of the sessions we have spoken about how, I'm not sure what we're talking about. I think it was one of the information session that you can find on our YouTube. Was the UWC, our UWC team, and we're talking about AI, how AI is not a threat, but AI is it requires you to see it as something that will help you perform tasks that you're performing now better, because at the end of the day, they're going to be new positions, right? Positions that exist now, some of them are going to be taken by AI, but there will be new positions that will exist. So you need to see the need and say, okay, this is where the technology is going. It means that I must learn and educate myself how to use ChatGPT and maximize and learn how to write certain things quicker than average, because now I know platforms that will help me do that. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yes, you did perfectly. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other question?
I don't have a question as such, but there's someone who was talking about the lack of education. I'm not sure who was, but can that someone on WhatsApp so that you can talk, because I'm also running a tutoring service.
Okay. Are you on the group?
Yes, I'm on the group. I'm the
Yeah,
one
you can.
who,
Or you sent her a message on the group.
yeah.
Okay, then you will definitely get. I will try because I have the name saved, so I'll try send you the person who mentioned that. All right. Any other questions or feedback before we go to the conclusion? Okay, no problem. I guess there are no questions or any feedback. I appreciate your time. Time is very important, and you taking time to listen to me and engaging with me. That is something I appreciate. And I hope you had learned something valuable today that you take with as we're preparing for our exhibition happening on the 14th of October. So I hope you guys are ready with your business ideas, what you're jotting around, your creativity and say, this is what I'm going to be presenting and all of that. Remember on the day, it's just going to be fun. It's just going to be talking. It's just going to be music. It's just going to be food and vibes on the day. We're not going to be doing this. This is now. But then on the day, we're not doing that. We're just enjoying each other's company and learning from each other in person. So I hope to see you there on the 14th of October. I'll be there in Cape Town. So the conclusion, massive social and economic problems defy conventional solutions. So you have to go, a kind of different route to solve that, which now is social enterprise. Popularity of social entrepreneurship is using free markets to create social value. And entrepreneurs get things done despite obstacles and inherent disadvantage. Inherent disadvantage, if you guys remember, is the government control, public, dun, 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 dun. So this is done by by innovating and being creative. And social entrepreneurs are accountable to the public, right? Not only the investors. So social entrepreneurship is really about people. It's not about the investors much, but mostly really about the people that you're serving, the community. In the next session that we're going to have, we'll be discussing about the people, right? How to um, definitely like diversity in with social entrepreneurship. So we know that people are different, people think differently. So how do we deal with diversity in social entrepreneurship, and how do we also expand our reach by being diverse and open to diverse group of people? So we'll be working on that on the next one. And then we're also gonna have one on marketing. I'm not gonna be doing. I'm gonna be doing the last one with you tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, and then there's one on marketing. On how specifically to use the Canva app. So we're gonna have our digital designer gonna help you guys. We use Canva to design our stuff. So that person will be helping you on how to design a simple poster using Canva. Um, yeah. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow and until we're done with the program. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely day.